I'm going to say something that might be a bit controversial, but I cut off contact with one of my parents. Literally, I do not give them access to me. I do not give them access to my kids or my family. And I know you're probably watching this thinking, oh my god, this is crazy, girl. Like, I could never. But I'm going to tell you something that I feel like a lot of people need to learn. And especially now I'm talking to like my Nigerian girlies, or guys if guys watch, African girlies, like black girlies, because I feel like it's usually in our communities that no matter what happens, no matter what they do, your parents are your parents, and that is it. You have to accept them as they are, and that is false. Unfortunately, we can't choose the families we're born into. Unfortunately, we can't choose the people we're born into. Regardless of what happens, someone you're related to is always going to be related to you. Your parent is always going to be your parent. Yes, you cannot change that. You can definitely choose who you pour energy into and like what relationships you maintain, who you let around you, whose energy you let around you as well. And one thing about Nigerian parents, they really feel like because you're a child, or because like, you know, you're their child, you don't have agency. Either they don't realize, or they just like to ignore the fact that just because you give birth to someone doesn't mean they are not their own person. You are your own person, and you have to make decisions that benefit yourself. And if that means that you can't be around some certain people, or you can't let some certain people have access to you regardless of who they are, then that's completely fine. One thing about Nigerians, tell them, you know, a friend, an acquaintance, a boyfriend, a teacher, or whoever did something terrible to you, and they will be quick to say, oh my god, terrible, yep, cut them off. But as soon as you mention that that person is a relative, or specifically a parent, no, oh, either way, it's your parent, you have to forgive, they brought you to the world, they raised you, they this, they that. One thing, I keep saying one thing, at this point it's giving 10 things like Nigerian parents need to learn and unlearn, but they need to understand that like, that you gave birth to someone doesn't mean they owe you their whole life. At the end of the day, if you choose to have a child, you chose to have a child. Your child didn't ask to be born here. So having a child, taking care of them, raising them, that's not enough to be like, yes, I've done this, so that means I deserve the world. You've done the bare minimum, because at the end of the day, you had the child. It's like if you have a pet, you're not going to get praise for taking care of your pet, because obviously you got a pet because you wanted one, and that when you decide to get a pet, you take on the responsibility that comes with having it. And that's with anything. If you have a house, you don't get praise for keeping your house nice and neat. If you have a phone, you don't get praise for keeping your phone well, because when you buy something, or when you take ownership of something, you assume the responsibility of taking care of it. That's the exact same thing with children. If you have a child and you've raised it, that is what you're supposed to do, because who else is going to do it when it's your child? But my point in saying that is that I think people think that because your parent has raised you and they've taken care of you, that means even when they do XYZ that is not good for you, you have to just forgive them, because you have to be grateful that at least they raised you, at least they took care of you. And I'm saying like, that's what they were supposed to do, so that's not something you have to actually be grateful for. That's just a, okay, you did your job. Do you know what I mean? Raising a child is not an excuse to treating them poorly, or being a toxic parent, or being, you know, a negative impact on their life essentially. And like I said, in our community we get kind of like guilt tripped or shamed, gaslit, all a combination of the three, to be honest, into having these people around despite their terrible behavior or their terrible ways. So I'm making this video essentially to say, like, if you're watching this and you're in that situation, like, this is your sign. It's okay. Like, the world is not going to crumble if you cut that person off. Your life will go on like normal. You will be fine. Like, of course it's not so black and white to say you'll be fine as per that you won't care at all. Like, obviously if you're, you know, for me, I think I've said before, like, I come from a somehow kind of family, so when I see the dynamic that other families have, of course part of me is like, oh wow, like, you know, that seems really nice. Like, I can't relate, but you know, it would be nice to have that and be able to relate to that. But at the same time, that doesn't affect my life in any way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I live my life where I live it, and it's fine. And you know, thankfully, even I have my own family. So one thing that, like, you know, my family dynamics has shown me is that, you know, I want to raise my kids differently. I want to treat my kids differently, and I want to have a different kind of relationship with my kids. And I want my kids to have, you know, a different kind of relationship with their sibling. Well, I only have 2 kids and I'm not having any more, but like, you know, I want them to have a different kind of relationship, and I'm going to do things to put that in place. So as much as, yeah, I can't relate to it when I see other people's family dynamics, but I can see it and know that, yeah, this is a good thing, and I want to foster that in my own family. But aside from that, my life is fine. The clock keeps ticking, the world keeps spinning, like it's fine. So don't let anybody make you feel like, oh, you cannot leave these people that are toxic or doing bad things or impacting you in a negative way because they're your family and you need them. And you, the people that will be telling you, oh, but they're your family, oh, you need your family, etc., etc., sit down and think to yourself, okay, now that I have, you know, these people or this person here, what positive things I can do in my life? If you can make a list and even have 3 positive things that they're doing, then congrats to you. And if those 3 positive things outweigh the negative things they're doing, then congrats to you again. Maybe you shouldn't cut them off. Maybe you should still forgive them for whatever it is they're doing. But if you can't do that, then really and truly, what does it matter? Because people are so quick to say, oh, blood is thicker than water and family this and family that. And yeah, that's true. Blood is thicker than water. But okay, and then what? Do you know what I mean? And another thing, which is a very hard truth to accept, but I have come to learn this now, just because someone's related to you, whether parent, whether sibling, whether aunt, whether uncle, whoever, it doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. That's another thing that people need to understand. Like, people that are related to you are also just people. So people can just do terrible things. People can just be terrible people. People can be wicked people, and they also just happen to be related to you. That's something that when you come to terms with, I think you, again, don't find it as difficult to let people go regardless. Because I think sometimes, you know, when you're related to someone, you want to obviously give the benefit of the doubt, because you do have that thing in your head like, oh, but this person is related to me, so they can't mean any harm to me. But, you know, we see that time and time again, that people do mean harm to people they're related to. I mean, and at the end of the day, like, I'm not Jesus. I don't need to turn my cheek 1,000 times for you to slap it and then still turn to slap the other one. Like, I can actually just let you go. We're all humans, so to a degree, we're selfish. And yes, I am selfish enough to put myself first in situations. If you are impacting me negatively, if you are not wishing me well, or if you do mean to cause me harm, or if you have caused me harm, etc., then yes, I would definitely let you go out of my life and not give you access to me, because I need to prioritize my own sanity, peace of mind, mental health, physical health, everything. One thing that really did it for me to let me know, yeah, I need to cut this person out of my life, I was having a very, very good day. Not today, because obviously I've cut this person out like already, but I was having a very, very good day at one point, a very good week even. And this person came to my house. I noticed once they left, my mood had instantly switched, like as in it had dropped. I was not happy anymore. I was on edge, like I was worrisome. I was like, that essentially started what was probably like, I think, a 3 to 5 day, what I would now probably call a manic episode. After that, I could not sleep for those next 3 to 5 days. Like, I could not sleep. I was up until the point where, you know, when your eyes just close naturally at some point, but it would be like, you know, that person maybe left around like 11 p.m. and I was awake till about 7 or 8 a.m. the next morning. I did not sleep. I binge ate to the point, like, you know, I probably ate 5 days worth of food in that space of that many hours. Like, I had ordered a whole bunch of food, dessert, snacks from the shop, and I'm talking like even snacks, and I'm talking even snacks that maybe on a normal day I wouldn't really eat, as in ice cream, crisps, sweets, a whole bunch of stuff. Ate to the point that I physically could not eat anymore. Like, I actually felt sick. Was up till the next morning watching TV, like looking at stuff online, just anything basically, because I literally, my mind could not even rest for me to sleep. And that went on for the next couple of days. I was not doing anything else except for that, literally binge eating, being up for hours, finally eventually close my eyes for like an hour or two, and then repeat. Out of that, I looked back at the past few days, and it was, you know, when you're kind of just like, wait, what has even happened these past few days? Like, that was how I felt. It was just like, what the hell? Like, what have I been doing? And I realized, like, it started from when this person came around. Like, that was when everything with my mood and my behavior changed. And that was when I just knew, like, yeah, you cannot be around me, because obviously there's so many other things and layers to things this person has done and the way they behave. But that was really the point when I realized, like, this is not normal. Like, it is not normal to feel like that. And I just realized, yeah, like I cannot continue to go on like this, because who does it actually serve? Why am I forcing myself to keep this person around or interact with them just based off of like, oh, they're related to me and, you know, I can't cut them out because what will people say or what will they think? But like, it's not my problem how other people perceive you based on, you know, the reaction that I have to things that you have done. Like I said earlier on, this is just your sign that if you're dealing with any of that, like if no one else has told you already, I am telling you, it is okay to let people go that you're related to. You will be fine. Your world will not crumble. You will not suffer. In fact, you'll even be happier and be healthier. Do what you need to do. It's okay. You're allowed to. You are your own person, regardless of who gave birth to you. You don't owe them your whole life because you did not ask them to give birth to you. Yeah, if you made it to the end, comment below if you can relate. Comment below if you do want me to make more videos talking about this kinds of stuff in more detail, like as per just how to navigate these situations. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.